nice grounding meditation. Move into some movement. Need a better word for that. And end with a nice long Savasana, final relaxation pose. So if there's anything anyone's working on, or any body part or stretch that someone who's looking forward to, just drop it in chat and I'll do my best to include it in the practice. Alright. Everything that I lead you through is an invitation. Don't feel any type of way about it having to look any way or go at any speed. Just start connecting to your own breath and your own pace. I'm just going to roll through it together. So, coming to find a comfortable seated position on your dog. I'm seated up nice and tall. Heart comes over hips, head comes over heart, hands come to land on the knees, palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable for you, or just lowering the eyes to a soft gaze is also available and appropriate. And we'll just start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and out through the mouth in an audible sigh, shoulders drop away. Just allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Returning to a natural pace. We'll just take a moment here to arrive. Let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this moment. Here in this space. Begin to allow sounds into your awareness. Maybe sounds outside your window. Your pets or roommates shuffling within your home. Allowing all sounds in, all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. The weight of your hands on your knees. Begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. And taking note to work into those places that call out for your attention throughout your practice here today. We'll shift that awareness up from the the body, Annamaya Kosha, up to the breath, Pranamaya Kosha, and energy level. Just noticing energetically where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready for bed, 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. And shifting the awareness up to the breath, no need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. We'll shift the awareness up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha, allowing thoughts and feelings to arise naturally and freely. And just observing those thoughts and feelings from a distance, like a movie being projected onto a screen. No need to engage, the storyline goes on without our input. And just notice, what are the quality of the thoughts today? Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they harping on one long drawn out drama? Or are they flashes of thoughts, fragments, barely piecing together? Not good or bad, not right or wrong, just something to notice. We'll bring that attention back down to the breath, this time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Belly inflating like a balloon, expanding, ribs expand on the inhale. And exhale draws it all in, actively pulling belly button in towards spine, zipping the ribs in. Breathing in and out through the nose, if that's available. Long, slow breaths. We'll allow space between top and bottom teeth, the jaws relaxed. Space between the eyebrows broadens as the forehead relaxes. Still seated up nice and tall as we start our Ujjayi Pranayam, our ocean-sounding breath, or victorious breath. And we'll practice that by constricting the back of the throat, enough so air can still pass through, but it becomes audible. So almost like a Darth Vader breath, or like you're trying to fog up a glass or a mirror in front of your nose. Let your breath slow down. Keep your shoulders relaxed, just breathing horizontally, out lifting the shoulders or the back. When the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath. And the next time you exhale, just releasing that constriction from the throat, releasing any effort, and just returning to a natural pace of your breath, perhaps affected by that pranayama, that breathing technique. We'll invite our hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. No space between the fingers, and the thumbs are pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice. It might be the sankalpa, the heart's desire you've been working with all year, or something new might inspire you. The invitation is just to set it in the present and affirmative tense. So as if you're already embodying it, as if you already have it. For example, I flow through life with ease and grace. Or I am patient. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me, of course. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap, chin drops towards chest, and on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest, and left ear towards left shoulder. So allowing the head to roll side to side. Good morning, Greg. Glad that you're well. Good. Exhaling, chin to chest, and left ear towards left shoulder. Oops. Here we go. So we're just allowing the head to roll side to side. And let's bring that out. Great. Just beginning to open up the space in the upper back and the neck. And the next time the head rolls through center, bring it up to neutral and just begin to roll the shoulders forward. We'll roll the shoulders back. Just beginning to open up the chest, upper back, space between the shoulder blades. Nice, come to stillness in the shoulders. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, we'll bend over to the right. Left arm reaches over. Let's just make some big circles here, sweeping forward. Just continue to wake up the shoulders. We did some deep shoulder stretches yesterday, so you might be feeling it now. And we'll change directions, 3 back strokes. Just observing any clicking or cracking. It's not like right or wrong, it's just something to notice. If you feel like sharp pain, that's something to notice and actually adjust for. Bring it over to the left. Big sweeping circles of the right arm. We'll change direction, sweeping back. We'll bring it back up to center and twist to the right on the exhale, hand on the knee. Right hand lands behind you, chest opening to side wall, staying tall in the spine. Inhale back up through center, and exhale to the right, or to the left rather. Following the breath in to rise, and out to twist. In to rise, out to twist. We've got one more on each side. So we're calibrating the breath with the movement. So speed of the body linked to the length of the breath. And back up through center. Elbows bend, hands come to ear height. Just wave out the hands, beginning to warm up the wrists and the hands. Then palms flip down, fingers wiggle side to side. So the reason we practice pranayama, those breathing practices, is obviously we want to build a deeper relationship with the breath. Deeper breath means more oxygen for the body. Flip the palms in. When we get to practice dropping out of sympathetic fight or flight mode into parasympathetic rest and digest mode, and as well as we can use these, so we get to practice using these techniques actually during our class as well. So we need some concentration in a pose. We can tap into that ujjayi pranayama, that victorious breath, to keep our mind centered and concentrated on the actual posture at hand. And just give yourself a little like shaking off water. We'll shake out. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then we'll work on some neck mobility. So, finger comes to the top of the jawbone near the ear. Just seat it up nice and tall. We'll just bring the hands out, fingers out like an inch or so, and give the head a slide. So these owl slides. So mindful that you're not lifting shoulders to make that happen. Shoulders stay totally relaxed, they're not involved at all. And mindful that the head's not turning. So this is the next thing that might be happening. Avoid that. It's just the jaw trying to reach the fingers. And you can bring the fingers closer too. It can be a smaller movement. As areas in your neck begin to open up, you can bring the fingers farther and farther away. Still we're breathing, mindful not to hold your breath in this movement. Three, 2, 1. Okay. Just drop the ear side to side. And then we'll get into our neck roll. So I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can better see what's going on. But you can stay facing forward if that makes more sense for you. So, staying seated up tall. Chin tucks down towards chest. So we're making big circles with the nose. Comes all the way forward, all the way up, all the way back, and then chin tucks back down towards chest. So making a big circle with the nose without letting the rest of the body involve. So I'm going to the edges of my mobility in my neck. Keeping the movement smooth, keeping the breath slow but deep. And we'll change directions. So now we'll be leading with the chin. It's coming up, forward, 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 down, scoop it in, and up. Just one more cycle like this. Get back to center. You just look over the right shoulder and the left shoulder. Releasing any tension like that. Right. We'll bring the legs out in front. Great. Okay. Alright, loose. So you just French the toes. Roll out the ankles. Change directions. Feet come nice and wide. We'll drop the knees side to side. There we go. So just letting the knees fall all the way side to side, warming up the hips. And the next time the knees fall over to the right, we'll bring our hands to frame that knee, bringing it down to a tabletop pose. So I should roll my mat out, that would be good, right? Alright, so in tabletop we have hands below shoulders, knees below hips. And inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for cow pose. And exhaling, rounding the spine, chin tucks towards chest, opening up the space between the shoulder blades. Inhale, hands press down and back, knees press down and forward. Exhale, hands press down and forward, knees press down and back. So we're using that grip to get an even deeper rounding and arching in the spine for cat-cow stretches. On your next exhale, releasing back to tabletop pose. We'll turn the hands back, so out to the sides and back, fingers spread wide, palms of the hands stay on the ground. I'm slightly leaning back and forward. So just opening up that deep stretch in the forearms and the wrist. So you might not go as far back as I'm going. You should go as far back as your wrists are telling you is a good idea. Just remember, the palms never leave the ground. So I'm just going back to the edge of my flexibility, and then back up to neutral. Back to the edge, and back. And the next time you press back, hold it there, and the breathing continues. So we hold poses, but not the breath. Shoulders stay relaxed. Bring the shoulders back over the wrists, untwist the hands, toes tuck under, and sit back on the heels to give the feet a stretch. And we can interlace the fingers and just like an infinity sign. Just roll out the wrists. Change directions if you haven't already. All right. Then back to our tabletop pose. We'll walk the hands forward about 6 inches, maybe even a foot. Sending the hips back for child's pose. We're going to round in the spine, coming forward like their cat. And then letting the hips press down, chest press up for cobra pose. Then reaching back through child's. So making that a nice big, almost like you're in a barrel cycle here. So rounding in the spine on your way over. Arching up in the spine on the way down and back. So connecting that to breath. Exhale, rounds you forward. Inhale to arch and press back. Following your own breath here, calibrating the speed of your body to the length of your breath. Just one more like this. We'll reach the hips back down for a child's pose. Hips touch down to the heels or close to it. You can let your knees open up a bit so the belly can kind of hang in between. And allow the chest, head, and neck, or chest, chin and forehead to come down towards the ground. Tops of the hands, or rather palms of the hands press into the ground so hard that the elbows stay lifted. And we'll walk our hands all the way over to the right, keeping the left hip glued to that heel or close to it. And the whole side body is stretched. Breathing into the left side body, intercostal muscles, space between the ribs. We'll walk the hands over to the left. This time the right hip is staying glued to the foot or close to it. So the last couple of days I've been feeling like really high energy and super anxious. And now today I have like an emotional hangover and I just feel like so exhausted. But like physically I have no reason to feel exhausted. It's just like the running in my head that's exhausting about it. just like all things to notice when we're doing. So we're just gonna bring it back to the middle, back to child's pose. When we're doing those energy check-ins, and on a scale of 1 to 10 being like, okay, where am I at energetically? Sometimes you know right away, like, oh, I drank last night, or I slept, or I like pulled an all-nighter, whatever it is. You kind of like know why you're tired. You can reason it out. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just you wake up with a lot of energy, or you wake up with no energy at all. So it's just interesting to kind of reflect as to what activities, are draining to you energetically. All right, we're going to roll it forward onto your belly. Toddler for me. Yeah, for sure. Let me grab my chat to actually have it close to me. Oh, I can't believe I read that from that far away. My eyesight must be getting better. Light of my life, but also so draining. Yeah, so many things are like that. They're like, things usually aren't all good or all bad. It's like, so lots of the good things in our lives come at a price, right? And they're really toddlers for so long, right? Except somebody told me that, like, well, anyway. So we're gonna work on strengthening the lower back. So hands come down by the sides. We've been kind of working on this little sequence for the last week or so. Tops of the feet press into the ground so hard that the knees lift. Glutes squeeze tight and press into the ground. And then inhale, chest, shoulders, and head lift. Exhale, they touch back down. Inhale, chest, head, shoulders lift. Maybe the arms lift as well. Exhale, it touches down. Inhale to lift. Maybe the legs lift as well. But if this bothers your lower back at all, just keep the tops of the feet pressed into the ground. Do you always smile this much early in the morning? I guess so. At least for the last 62 days. Today's 62? Yeah. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, we're lifting. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift chest, head, shoulders, arms, legs. Exhale, lower. Inhale to rise. So the heart's reaching forward, the feet are reaching back. Even my head, I'm not looking up towards the sky. I'm keeping my gaze at the short end of the mat. Exhale to lower. We just got 3 more like this. Shoulder blades are squeezing together like you're holding a pencil between them. Lower. 2. And 1. So we're holding it here, but we're not holding the breath. Toes are reaching back. Glutes are squeezed tight. Shoulder blades squeezed tight together behind you. Shalabhasana, locust pose, strengthening the erector spinae, all those good posture muscles. I'm naturally a realist. Nice to have a dose of positivity to the start of the day. Oh yeah, I think in high school, I was in this class called Humanities. It was like English and history put together, but I can't remember why, but for some reason we were having a debate in class, and we got split down the middle totally randomly, like by our last names, and half the room were realists, and half the room was dreamers. And then the argument was like, who makes the world go round? And I was on the dreamer side, not like just randomly. I just happened to end up there by random selection, but definitely a dreamer. But that's why I need realists in my life. You know, too many dreamers in a room, nothing gets done. Too many realists in a room, kind of still nothing gets done, because it's like, why even start? All right, anyway, I've had you guys in this pose for quite a while, so let's just take one more deep breath. And exhale, lower it down. You can drop one cheek onto the ground, let your whole body relax. Knees bend, and windshield wiper the knee side to side. Let the hips go along for the ride. 100% agree. Yeah. I wasn't that smiley when I turned stream on. I feel like I was in a bad mood, but I'm already in a better mood now. Just moving. Moving's nice. Hanging out with you guys in chat is nice. Move some energy around. All right, good work, everybody. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Let's press it back up to tabletop pose. I do want to work on some deep twists. How do I want to do that? Yeah, we might as well. We're already on the ground, guys. So let's just do it now. So I'm gonna sit down. Take a seat here. Extend the. Let's do it this way. Right leg out. Left foot comes to the outside of the right knee. Left hand on the ground close to your lower back. Right arm sweeps up on the inhale. And exhale, we'll twist it over to the left. So I can hug the knee or hook the knee. And pulling the shoulder back. Either way, the grip with this knee is being used as leverage to open the chest towards the long side of the mat. Extended leg, heel is flexed, foot is flexed. It's like there's a string pulling me up from the crown of my head towards the sky. Inhale gets me taller, and every exhale deepens the twist. So it's like a little dramatic. You probably saw like my body move. You might not even feel your body move or see your body move, but you can feel it. Lengthen the spine on the inhale, deepen in the twist on the exhale. Matsyasana spinal twist. Breathing fully, even in the contortion of this posture. We've got one more. We'll bring it back to the middle. Sorry, I'm turning, you don't have to turn. The hands come to the opposite side. I'm not even twisting, I'm just breathing here in a gentle, neutral counter twist. All right. Opposite leg comes out. Right leg comes out. Left foot comes to the outside of the, no. Left leg extends out. Sorry. Right foot comes to the outside of the left knee. Right hand comes to the ground close to your lower back. Left arm sweeps up on an inhale. And exhale, we're twisting to the right. So you can hook the elbow. Great. If you can't, hug the elbow, or you can even use your hand, but probably you can hook the elbow or like hook the arm around the knee. Either way, we're going to use that as leverage to keep the spine tall, to keep the chest open towards the long side of the mat. Bottom extended heel is flexed, pressed away. Inhale gets you taller, and every exhale, deeper into the twist. I'm not even worrying about looking over my shoulder because that's going to be more of a neck stretch, and we get plenty of neck stretches in class, neck work in class. So right now I just want you to focus on the twist between the shoulders and the hips. All that space, lumbar spine, transverse spine. Breathing into the space that you have, even in the contortion of this twist. So you might try full belly breathing, but your belly is basically pressed up against your thigh here. So you have to start breathing into those side ribs, those intercostal muscles that we're always working on opening through our side and lateral bends. One more breath here in Matsyasana spinal twist. And bring it back through center. And just so I can show you. Hands come to the opposite side, to the left side, and just taking a breath here. I'm not pushing or pressing, just taking a breath here in neutral. What's your face itchy? And back to center. Alright, I know Lucy's really the star of this show, but I am gonna shift this up so you can see what I'm doing. So we'll take a step up between the hands, take another step up, walk the feet out to the edges of the mat. You can bend and extend one leg and then the other. And then here we'll we'll go from a deep squat, so dropping the hips down between the hips down heavy, head and heart come up high, and then hips raise up tall, head comes down heavy. So going between Malasana and Uttasana. Squat and forward fold. Squat and forward fold. Just nice and gentle. Doesn't have to be your deepest squat of your life. Doesn't have to be the deepest forward fold of your life. Just a little dynamic movement between the two postures. And then next time you're in your forward fold, just stay there for a moment. The breathing continues. Allow the head to nod yes. And the knees can be a little or a lot bent. If you feel any pressure or like pulling in the back, the hamstrings or the lower back, bend your knees even more. Like you can even have like your belly on your thighs basically. Yeah? Head nods yes. Let it shake no. Grab opposite elbows, creating a frame for the head, and allow yourself to roll side to side, ragdoll. So you can really let yourself move a little freely here. Might feel better for you to bob back and forward or make figure eights. Bring it back to center, hands release, heels to the feet in towards one another until big toes touch. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Heavy head comes up last. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right knee bends and pulls in towards the body. Take a deep breath in here. One-legged Tadasana. And then exhale, we'll hinge on the left hip. Head comes forward as leg goes back like a seesaw. Let that counter weight send you into this warrior three balance. Palms are pressed together in prayer. Keep the hips square to one another. So that right hip's going to want to pop up, but keep it in alignment with the left. Making the letter T with the body. And then we'll gently bend in the left knee to land in our high lunge. You can adjust accordingly. If you didn't land quite exactly, that's all good. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, hands release down to frame the left foot. Here we'll come to straighten and bend the front knee. So your hands can be up on blocks or like stacked books as well to bring the ground closer to you. We're just working on bending and extending the front knee. If you got a little space to play with the extension, you can even lift the toes up, rolling onto the heel to get a deeper stretch in the back of the leg. But even if it's a smaller movement just here, that's great too. I'm just going from one edge to the other. And next time the knee bends over the ankle, we'll take a breath in, arms sweep up overhead, little back bend as the shoulders open up, and exhale, release hands down, left foot steps back to meet the right in our plank pose. Right hand comes below the face, and we'll drop the heels back, rolling onto the pinky side edge of the right foot. Left foot stacked on top, and the left hand sweeps up to the sky for our side plank. So I'm strong, pressing the ground away, and then here we're going to press the hips up towards the sky. So my hips are actively lifting up. I'm engaging my obliques, those side ab muscles. And if this is not possible for you right now, take the left leg and just place the foot down in front. So that's going to give you a little support.
Full breath here. And then release the hand down to the mat. Regular plank pose. Big toes come to touch, and we'll bring the left hand underneath the face, drop the heels to the left, rolling onto the pinky side edge of the left foot, and the right hand reaches up overhead. You create like the letter T with the hands. And we'll press the hips up towards the sky. So it's almost like a side bend here. We're using the hips to rise up, pressing the ground away, and still the breath is strong. Strong in the arms, strong in the breath. Right hand comes down to the ground, coming back to your regular plank pose with the feet maybe hips distance apart. Up onto the tiptoes, exhale, lower down halfway, chaturanga, and then tops of the feet flip for your upward facing dog. Tops of the feet are pressed into the ground so hard that the knees stay lifted off the ground. Chest is pressing forward and shoulder blades are squeezed tight behind you. Alternately, your hips can be on the ground, in which case walk the hands forward a bit, bend in the elbows so that your arms aren't straightened in Bhujangasana and Cobra. Either variation is all good. Full breath here. Then toes tuck under, hips press up high for downward facing dog. Finding the right spacing between the feet and the hands. The further your hands are from your feet, the deeper the stretch in the shoulders. The closer your feet are to your hands, the deeper the stretch in the legs. So I like some space in between. The head stay, the eyes stay open, either looking between the feet or between the knees. Knees are the key. Huh? In the bath, huh? Yep. Looking up between the hands, the right leg reaches up and back behind you. Exhale, knee in towards nose, rounding in the spine. Take a big step forward with the right foot. And inhale, rises you up for a high lunge. Exhale, hands release down to frame that foot, and we'll just work on extending and bending the knee. If you've got that space, you can even roll back onto the heel, lifting the toes to get a deeper stretch in the back of the leg. And once the knee's bent once again over the ankle, we'll sweep the arms up overhead. Nice and tall, little back bend here. And then we'll bring the chest forward like thunderbolt. And launch, I'm gonna hit that dresser, and launch forward for our warrior 3. So the left leg floats up, hands come to heart center. Watch that the left hip stays closed. Hips same distance from the ground. Hips square to the ground. Crown of the head reaching forward, my gaze is down, not forward. Chest stays lifted. Like making the letter T with the body. And we'll pull the knee in towards the chest, bringing the head upright, one-legged Tadasana. We'll release that foot down to the mat. Take a deep breath in, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. All right, let's shake it out. Just wanted a little bit standing series. Mostly wanted a feeling like a grounded practice today, but a little standing besides just jumping. Lucy's offended that she's not on screen anymore and she left us. So she knows she's not on screen. All right, let's give it a shake out. Shake out in hands, you can shake out the legs. Bring it bounce to the shoulders, and then bring it bounce to the legs, lifting up off the heels and allowing the heels to slam down. Knees are bent to create that reverberation of bringing a nice full jump to it all. I mean, you could really like jump if you like, but the idea is just that we're just creating this kind of like jiggle, reverberation, this shake in the body. So whatever feels good to you today. Different days, different energy. We were talking about that a little earlier. So in yoga, there's yamas and niyamas in yoga, which are part of the Yoga Sutras. They're the beginning part. They're basically observances and limitations. I don't know if that's a direct translation, but things that you want to observe and things you want to abstain from, more or less. And one of them is called Brahmacharya. So yeah, we're just like flopping here, just let your arms flop. We're just keep the jump going. Keep that jiggle going. So there's one called Brahmacharya. So like on its simplest level, it just means celibacy. Like, okay, that's great for a bunch of yogis living in the mountains way, way back in the day, but what does that mean for homeowners, they would call it, right? Which is like us living in society in the United States, not trying to reach enlightenment, just trying to like salvage some sanity in the chaos of life. And it really what it means, and like, so why even celibacy? It's like about energy management. So how can we manage energy so that we have the energy necessary to meditate, to do yoga, but also like to spend time with our toddlers, to give presents to our parents, to, you know, do the things that we actually care about. All right, so if you're starting to feel tired, just want to double time when you feel like stopping. Like, don't worry about being ridiculous. It's not like your image is being live streamed across the internet. And exhaling through the mouth. So anyway, this is all part of that Brahmacharya, that energy management, and the observing of like what exhausted you the last day, or the last hour, or the last week, and are those things worth keeping in your life? Toddler, yes. Or are they worth getting rid of, like toxic relationship? No. So anyway, we're gonna work on letting go right now. Some emotional energy that might be stagnating in you, and we do that through breath of joy. And that's a 4-part breath, and it goes like this. It's 3 sips of air in through the nose, no exhale in between, in, and a big ha on the exhale, out, the arms sweep back. So it goes in, arms sweep up, in, arms sweep out, in, arms sweep up, and a big ha, arms get thrown back and you yell out through your mouth. Yeah? You got like 10 of those. So the knees stay bent, we're not swaying in the lower back, there's no like booty popping, none of that's happening. Just the arms are swinging and the breath is going, yeah? So, in, ha, in, ha, in, ha. Ha! 3 to go. If you haven't joined in yet, now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! One hand lands on the belly, one hand lands on the heart. Feet come nice and wide, stable stance, eyes closed. Let's take a moment here to observe what was created. Just taking your body like a snow globe and giving it a righteous shake. And now we stop to observe where the glitter dust settled. What has been revealed? What shows up when you let go and allow yourself to take up space, to be loud? Or what shows up as resistance to stop you from fully participating? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. Take a moment here to blink your eyes open, grab a sip of water, towel off any sweat. Okay, so momentary blip. If you're already on the ground, you just stay there. We'll meet you. And if you're not, you can come down with me. Inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, knees bend deep, deep, so deep that you come down to seated. This licorice tea, guys, I'm telling you. It's like really good. Alright, so the feet come together, knees splay open to the sides. You can give the feet a little massage here. So we're really focusing on spinal health today, but I still want to work a little bit into the hips, just like a little bit of work every day in certain areas can make a huge difference. And the things that most people, let's say, complain to me about, myself included, but like people share with me, is neck and upper back pain, hip pain, and wrist issues. So I like hitting those 3 areas of the body every single day, even if it's just with 1 or 2 movements. So we are, I love it. I love a good foot massage, even a self-imposed one. All right. So hands grab onto the ankles or the shins. Sit up nice and tall. If anything, a little back bend, like really dramatic. Deep breath in, leaning back, and exhale. We roll forward, belly, chest, head. For a Baddha Konasana bound ankle pose. So grabbing wherever feels good, and then we use that as a fulcrum to press the elbows into the knees and get the knees closer to the ground. So is my goal to get my knees to the ground? No. My goal is to get a stretch in the hips. So whenever I get to that point, wherever that might be, then I've reached it and I'm breathing into that desired edge. If your knees easily reach the ground, this is not a stretch for you. Bring your heels in even closer to your hips, closer to your pelvis, making this like a tinier diamond, and that's going to change the stretch. Alternately, you can bring your feet further away, and that's going to change the spot of the stretch in the hips as well. So wherever you may be, you can let your head be heavy. I'm not trying to get my nose to my toes or anything like that. I'm focusing on the hips here. But if letting the head be heavy brings pain to your spine, to your back anywhere, just keep it more of a nose to toes type movement where the head's a little bit engaged, a little bit looking up. Feel the shoulders melt away. And just like before, the inhale finds space in the pose. And the exhale deepens the posture. So maybe I press a little bit harder with my elbows into the knees. Last deep breath here. You press it back up to seated.
Knees come together. Hands come behind the knees. We'll scooch forward. That's better. Scooch forward. So your sits bones are close to the ground. We'll tilt it back until the tailbone hits the ground. Yeah, for sure. Right, so True Hater. I think I met you on Mobility Gabe stream. So hello, welcome in. Although your name does send up some little red flags. Not gonna lie. All right, so here we are, tilting back until we hit our tailbone. So we have 3 points of contact: left and right sits bones and our tailbone. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, True Hater. All right, so here we are balancing. We're trying to bring our shins up to parallel to the ground for Urdhva Navasana, upward facing boat pose. My shoulder blades are squeezed tight behind me. Deep breath in here. And exhale, release the hands. Inhale to sustain. And exhale, opens up that angle just a bit. Inhale, sustains. Exhale, legs straighten out a bit more. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, straighten out even more. Inhale to hold. Exhale, open out even wider. Inhale to hold. And let it all go. Full body stretch. Made it. We made it to the ground, guys. Good work. And chat. Just for the info, if you bring those fists closer to the shoulder while flexing, your muscles will look more defined. I don't know, you seem really nice to be a true hater. True life. Like that. I have to work on my flex, guys. Yeah, it depends on the lighting. Alright, so here we are, straight on the back. Obviously I have some personal growth, not in bicep strengthening, but in flexing. We're gonna bring the knees in. I love you. I love you guys in chat. You guys are you're just the best. Alright, so knees are hugged in towards the chest. We're giving ourselves a little rock side to side. A little lower back massage. What time is it? Cool. We'll let the feet come down to the ground, close to the hips, about hips distance apart. Hands release down by the sides if they're going to graze the heels. It doesn't really matter if they touch or not. It's a slight tuck of the hips so the lower back's pressed into the ground. You can feel your lower back kind of pressing into the ground. And we're going to raise the hips up, peeling the spine off of the ground one vertebra at a time. And then lowering back down, once again, one vertebra at a time. So visualize in your head your spine articulating each vertebra independently, freely, smoothly. So they're called rolling bridges. So we're inhaling to the very tip top of the bridge and exhaling to lower down. Once you've got the image in your head of what it looks like, just look up towards the ceiling so we're not like tweaking your neck, like looking to the side as you're putting weight on the neck. But we really want to actually be putting weight on the shoulders, not the neck, but even still, gazing up towards, having the head facing the ceiling is going to be a lot safer for you. So calibrating breath and body, speed of the body, informed by the length of the breath. And see if at the top of every inhale you can press the hips up just a millimeter taller.
You can usually achieve this by squeezing the glutes to press the hips higher. Pressing the shoulders and the triceps into the ground for that little extra lift as well. We just got 3 more like this. Lifting through the hips, peeling the spine up off the ground, and exhaling to lower down 1 vertebra at a time. And on this 3rd, or rather 10th, last bridge pose, we're going to hold it up here and the breathing continues. So we hold the pose but not the breath. Shoulders tuck under. So now I'm really pressed into my triceps and my shoulders. My neck is not really feeling any of the weight. There's a bit of a throat choke going on, but it's not the weight on my neck. Hips are driving up towards the sky, glutes are squeezed tight, heels are pressed into the ground. Maybe the fingers interlaced behind the back. I'm pressing the hands into the ground. Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Knees stay over the ankles. Don't let them splay out or drop in or anything weird. Just keep them directly over the ankles. As always, we're trying to stack joints on top of one another. And here we're breathing fully, even in the constriction of the throat. Perfect time to bring in our Ujjayi Pranayama, our victorious breath, ocean sounding breath. The throat is already constricted here, so it's an easy transition to just do it mindfully now. So you can hear your inhale, hear your exhale, bring the focus there, while your attention there, while the focus is still on sustaining the integrity of the physical aspects of this posture. Last deep breath here. Fullest expression of the pose. Unlace the fingers, untuck the shoulder blades, and roll it down with control 1 vertebra at a time. Once your hips touch down, bring your feet out the width of the mat and just drop the knees side to side. Then the legs come down the length of the mat. We'll bring the elbows underneath the shoulders. Point the toes. And then like there's a string on your sternum pulling you up towards the ceiling. We're coming into fish pose. The chest lifts, so arch. Head releases back. For fish pose. 4, even more. So I just wanted to give the neck an opposite stretch from that last posture. For even more of a challenge, if you're feeling up to it, you can lift the hips up, try to bring your toes to the ground. Still breathing, so we're always breathing. Okay, bring the hips back down if they're up. Chin comes back towards chest, and we'll release gently onto the back. Knees come in towards the body, and then gently release the knees over to the right. Left hip stacks over right hip, right hand lands on top of the left knee, and the left arm opens up like the letter T, bringing this left shoulder down to the ground. You might even look over this extended left hand for a complete spinal twist. And this time there's no pulling or anything like that. Just every exhale helps you relax a little bit deeper into the pose, allowing gravity really to be doing the work here. Just that left shoulder is pressing down towards the ground. And bring the head up through center, bring the knees up through center, and gently release the knees over to the left. Right hip lands on top of left hip, left hand lands on top of right knee, and right arm opens up like the letter T, not up towards the head, not down towards the hips, but straight out and across. The eyes, or rather the head, can even turn to look over the right hand to complete that Supta Matsundrasana, that spinal twist. Just the right shoulder's pressing down towards the ground. Otherwise, the whole body's relaxed. It doesn't matter if your knees are touching or if they're touching the ground. We'll bring the head up through center, bring the feet up through center, or knees up through center, and just notice, is there any last movement or wiggle or stretch that your body's asking for as we prepare for Savasana? It can be anything at all. It doesn't have to have a fancy yoga name. All class, all day, we tell our body what to do, and now we just ask back, is there anything left that would be beneficial, or that your body's kind of like asking for as we wrap up this movement practice? And this preparation might also include putting on a blanket or socks, as your body temperature will likely lower during this next meditation practice. Whatever else you might need for your Savasana final relaxation pose. That might be grabbing a blanket or a pillow from underneath your knees. You know your body. So as we get prepared for this pose, this practice, let's get into the posture. Legs extend down the length of the mat, feet come at least a foot apart, legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Hands land down by the sides, palms face up at least 6 inches from the body. Shoulders tuck under to support the chest. And the head comes to neutral. Gaze up towards the sky, and the invitation here is for the eyes to close if that's comfortable for you. If this brings any pain to your lower back, you don't want to have your head on a pillow, you're just on a flat surface. You can place that pillow or a rolled blanket underneath the knees to keep them bent. Or you can bring your knees nice and bent, feet come to the outside edges of the mat, and the knees knock together for broken bridge. Then the hips lift to tuck the hips and lower the hips back down with a nice elongated lower back. Traditionally, it's practiced with the legs down long, but adjust the knees accordingly to relieve any tension in the lower back. Come up to seated so that I can more easily guide you through this meditation, but you stay reclining and relaxed. And we'll start this practice just as we did our first seated practice, with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth, though this time the shoulders stay relaxed. Allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available. Inviting your exhalations to become longer and deeper than your inhalations.
Every exhale sinks you deeper into the ground below. The space between the top and bottom teeth relax. As the jaw relaxes, space between the top and bottom teeth. Tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. Nose relaxes, gently allowing breath to pass through like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets. The space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. And the whole head rests heavy. Shoulders melt away. Arms rest floating. Hips supported by the ground below. Legs and feet all relax. And the belly and chest naturally rise and fall with the breath, like the waves over the ocean. Blue sky over blue ocean. But even as storm clouds roll in, the size of the waves increase. Even as a storm rages on the surface, as you dive down into its waters, at the heart, at the center of the ocean, there's calm and peace, unaffected by the surface happenings. No matter how dark circumstances get, no matter how violent our outer reactions are, deep down, we are whole and complete and capable of peace. Notice if in your mind, if even for just one moment, there was a pause or some silence to that inner dialogue. Notice if in your breath there's ease. Notice if in your body the places of tension have found space. The places of restlessness have found peace. allow for everything that did and did not happen today in class. And know that in yoga, practice makes practice. Nothing more, nothing less. Invite your inhalations to deepen and become longer than your exhalations. Every inhale replaces that feeling of heaviness with a feeling of lightness and expansion as the fingers begin to wiggle and toes begin to curl. Head can gently rock side to side. Your arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. The knees bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural, allowing your head to rest on your arm like a pillow. Bringing to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today, or taking this opportunity to set one now. And if that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center in Anjali Mudra. Today we practiced a series of spine opening postures, side bends, forward folds, back bends, and strengthening twists. So lots of spinal resiliency today. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you to everyone who joined me today. Hi, Emmanuels. How are you doing, my friend? Looks like you already answered that question. Pretty good. Thanks for asking. Okay, great. And thank you to everyone else and people on Facebook. We're checking in. And thank you, Bodhi, for dropping that link to tips. Tips are super appreciated but never required. Currently saving up for a crystal bowl, and it turns out I might not even have to order one. Bodhi, Ghost Floof isn't here. He's probably the most invested. Well, Bodhi's technically the most invested, literally, but emotionally, Ghost Floof is the most invested, as we're saving up for a crystal bowl. So similar to these singing bowls, except instead of it being metallic, it is made out of actual crystal. I think like selenite, or there's different ones. But I might not even have to order one online because I live in like a super hippy-dippy town. So I'm getting recommendations from some local friends as to where they got their singing bowls, and I'd be able to just go and pick it up from a store, like physically, like a brick and mortar store, like a local like what? So we'll see. The research is still going on. Either way, $5 gets you a link to class, a private link to a recording of class, and that's full of timestamps, and so you can go to your favorite parts of class, the different meditations, the movement and lymphatic shaking and all of that, so you don't have to like scroll around trying to find it. Yes, so super appreciated, and super appreciated there's like been a couple people, and I am like 95% sure it's coming from Twitch, that have been dropping a few bucks here and there, and I just want to say thanks if you're in chat right now, because it's like your legal name on PayPal and on Venmo, and I only know you by your screen names, so if that's you, I see you, and I appreciate you, but I'm not going to say your legal name on stream because I feel like that would be counterproductive or mean, so anyway, I just wanted to address that and say thank you. I appreciate you. But yeah, so there's like a bunch of like shops that sell like incense and handmade soaps and stuff around here. So, and like, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of like head shops and like tie-dye shops in Ocean Beach in general. But there are apparently some places to buy crystal bowls around here too. So, looks kind of rainy today, which I'm probably wrong. It must just be cloudy because it rarely, very rarely rains in San Diego. But it looks like 7 o'clock in the morning here. It's not. It's 10, but it looks really like early, like gray. Still like the marine layers never lifted, but maybe it's just a cloudy day. Strange. It's raining here in LA. Oh shoot! If it's raining in LA, then this might be rain for us too. Wow. Yeah, it just looks kind of gloomy. Like I just want to like read and drink tea all day, but I definitely have to. Definitely actually work today, guys. Have I mentioned? Okay, so what'll happen is like I get like tons of energy, and then but then I'll get anxious. So then I'll be like, oh, there's so much to do. There's so much I can't do. But then like I don't get that many things done because I've spent like half the time worrying about it. And the thing is that like yoga and meditation legitimately really helps with that. But I still fall into those cycles of like frivolous, like not frivolous, but like high frequency. But I don't know. I got like a pretty big project done yesterday, so I think I'm just being a little hard on myself. I'm not being hard on myself. I'm just being a little like, I don't know. I feel ungrounded. That's why I want to do a real grounding pose today. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was like mostly on the ground. I think we did like 3 poses standing up, 4 if you include breath of joy. Yeah, I mean hormones. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely like in my follicular phase of my hormone cycle, which is like all that energy is like pumping right back up. I think for normal people it's like to like an 8, but I'm like at an 11. I identify as a person with a lot of energy, so anytime I'm feeling a little bit tired, I'm like, who am I? This is not who I am. You know what I mean? But like, everyone gets tired. Even hummingbirds. What is normal? Stop. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. There's no normal. I don't want to, yeah. If I said that, I get kind of, the cycle, like that, like little like spiral, like negativity spiral. So I got Bodhi here. Got Bodhi here to catch me. Everything I talk to you guys about, I'm also telling myself, May I ask, what are the bowls in the back of your mat? Listen to your body. Yeah. So these are Tibetan singing bowls. So they're hammered into these shapes that create different like megahertz sounds. I can play it a little bit for you. So I play them during Savasana. I'll play both for you, just a little bit. And then, so this is just like a wooden stick with like a little bit of like velvet or like felt. It might be leather. Sorry, vegans. Now that I'm like looking at it for real. It just has this nice like little resonance. It's like wah wah. Yeah. So then different sizes bowls gives you different frequencies, like different pitches. It keeps going. I don't know if you can hear that. I bet you can. But it'll just keep going. And then got this little one. It's a birthday gift a few years back. You can see like the smaller they are, the higher the pitch. Almost like a violin is a higher pitch than a double bass. Yeah. So the crystal ones are like the ones that are big enough. You can start them, like you can have them on the floor. They like kind of sit in these cute little pillow things, and you start them and then they'll keep going. Like you heard, like there's like the afterglow, like the after sound, and then you start playing another one, so you can have like multiple ones going at the same time. It's like, they're called sound baths. You like literally pay to just go and like sit in a room full of these, and like other people, like another person will like play them. So nice. I try to recreate a little bit of that experience for you guys in Savasana. But one of our friends here on stream, his name is Ghost Floof. He has tinnitus, which is like a ringing in your ear from metallic sounds. So that's what I was mentioning earlier. I'm saving up my tips from stream so that I can buy a crystal singing bowl. So it's the same thing, but instead of it being metal, it's made of little crystal, like crystal, like, you know, like what chandeliers are made out of and stuff. Yeah, and so then that has the same like wah 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 sound, but it doesn't have like the metallic like triggering part of it that would like knock off his tinnitus or like set off his tinnitus. So yeah, but I can't walk by one of these without. I mean, maybe physically I could, but I don't think I've ever walked by one of these without playing it. Like at yoga studios, every time they have them, I'm just like, hi, yes, I'll sign in a moment. So nice. Once I was at a house party, or it was like a backyard party, and they had this giant, it was like a popcorn bowl size singing bowl, like one of those, and I just like may or may not have eaten a bunch of mushrooms before this, but like I had like people lay on their backs, and then I would place. This was not during a yoga class, guys. This was during a party. Like people were inebriated, and I was placing the bowl like on their belly, like in between their pelvis and their ribs, and just playing the bowl like on their belly so their whole body was vibrating. Anyway, how close to affiliate are you? I qualified for affiliate back in January, actually. Like, I don't know, January 13th or something. I screenshot it because I was like, oh, today's the day I qualified. But I don't think I'm going to go for affiliate because I don't think it's in my, because my channel is so small. I feel like no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I'm such a small channel that like really all I have to, I have very little to gain from being in a partnership with Amazon, who owns Twitch. Like, all they're gonna do is take half my tips, as far as I'm concerned. Like, right now, when people tip me, I get $5 to my Venmo or my PayPal. But if I were to go affiliate, I get $2.50, and it's like, Twitch doesn't need my money. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it's, and this way also I can like pay attention to like who's sending me the money so I can give them the private link. If I became affiliate, all of my links, all of my videos would be up on Twitch for free. Does that make sense? I feel like that much vibration would make me be a little, you know what? You definitely have to have an empty bladder for that. The thing was heavy too. The thing's like solid metal. I mean, it's not solid, it's a bowl. But like on your stomach, and I was just like healing people left and right. Yeah, I think Greg, I think like the only thing I'd have to gain would really be like an emote, which would be really dope because I could definitely make like a really cute three-eyed tiger emote, and I want to make one so bad, but like I don't know. What I might do is convince my husband, Daydream Boy. He streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So today at 2 p.m. Pacific, he'll be streaming. And he has subscribers, and he has like a great channel and like a much bigger channel than mine. And he gets emotes. So I might just ask him for an emote slot and put my little three-eyed tiger up on his so that if people sub to him, then they can use my emote. Which is the most roundabout workaround ever. So unnecessary, but yeah. Yeah. But yeah, fun times with Twitch and singing bowls. What do you guys got for the rest of the day? Do you guys have school? Do you have work? I know Greg and Bodhi are already at work. And Greg, if I'm not mistaken, are you on the East Coast? Or are you here on the West Coast like me and Emmanuel's? Is that your only yoga mat? Technically, yes. Like physically here in California, yes. But I own like 14, maybe 16 yoga mats back on the East Coast. When I lived there 4 years ago, and I used to like run my own classes and workshops. So I own like 14 of them. But this is my only mat here on the West Coast, yeah. And I've spoken about this yoga mat before. It's like stupid expensive. It's not that it's not worth $70, but I wouldn't pay $70 for a yoga mat, and I do yoga every freaking day. Like you can see that during class, like half the class I'm just like on the floor. That's just like my preference. The only reason I own this exorbitantly expensive Lululemon mat is because I used to work. You're welcome, Greg. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. I'll be here, and I am working on that chair yoga class for you. The only reason I own this like really expensive mat is because I used to work for Lululemon like when I first got out of college in retail, and we had like a competition on who could sell the most mats, and I won. So I got to choose a mat of any color I'd like. So I chose turquoise. Now it's like just dark blue, but it used to be like this really bright turquoise color. That was in 2013. So I double up 2 cheap mats for my knees. Yep, I used to do that too. Bodhi, I used to just double up cheap mats. Manuals, I've seen a lot of yoga mats at Target, but I don't do yoga, so I don't know if I should buy it. So my first mat was a gift when I was like 14 years old from Target. It was like $12, Gaiam, like G-A-I-A-M was the company. Super like thin, but that thing lasted me like 6 years. Like by the end of the 6 years, I'll be honest, where my hands go for downward facing dog, like where this part goes, was like almost worn all the way through. And like also like where my toes go for a downward facing dog was born in, because I was only doing one kind of yoga, so it was like the similar classes every single time. But when you like have that worn out, it actually gives you like a little, oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate you.
Got you.
Oh my god, you guys, Kai Bucha just like brought me some tea, and I love her. He has a smiley face. From Tiki Port Novi. But yeah, I mean, I think like 5 years is a reasonable lifetime for a cheap yoga mat. And also for $12, like $12, worth it. Also, you can use your mat for other things, like if you do other workouts and stuff, it's great. Even when I'm doing other workouts, like I'm barefoot. The only like activities I wear shoes for is running, and I have as close to barefoot shoes as possible. So I have like Merrell's that are like, all my shoes are like no drop, so there's no lift in the heel. I'm like, if I could be barefoot all the time, I would, but I live in a city, and that would be absolutely effing disgusting, so I don't walk around barefoot. But in Massachusetts, I did used to walk around barefoot and even go hiking barefoot. So I don't know how I got off on this tangent on why I don't wear shoes even when I'm hiking miles and miles, but here we are. Yoga mats, that's what we're talking about. You don't have to buy an expensive yoga mat, but it does make it easier if you do have a yoga mat, especially in the beginning, because you haven't built up the muscles yet to hold you in place. So you're dealing with grip. Like, you're using grip to kind of help you get into the shape. Eventually, when you build up the body awareness and like the muscular strength, it's not going to matter as much. Like, you can do yoga in socks. Like, you could do yoga on ice. It wouldn't matter. Like, you'd still be able to be in Warrior 2 without your feet sliding apart. But until you build that, a yoga mat's going to be really great, because if not, it's just going to be really freaking frustrating. That's why I tell people also to like practice without socks, because you can use your skin grip to help you out. I hope this is all making sense. Sometimes I'm like, am I over-explaining stuff or not explaining it enough? But I can talk on and on, so. Oat milk. But if you don't, if you don't do yoga at Emmanuel's, why would you buy the yoga mat? Are you thinking about joining? Are you thinking about coming to one of my classes? Do you want to join? Do you? Do you? Do you want to? Good, I'm glad, Bodhi. I'd hope so. I imagine that you do, because I can tell that you don't have me on mute. You ever look on a channel and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to support this person, but I cannot listen to them, like put them on mute, but also like send them love. But I can tell that you listen to me. You're actually listening, and I'm like, yo, Bodhi's the realness. Maybe. Scandalous. I love it. Well, just to let you know, Emmanuel's, Greg has been asking, and a couple other people have been asking, and or have shown interest in a chair yoga class. So I'm just, I'm adding it to my list right now, guys. Literally. I'm gonna add this to my list of things to do, and chair yoga is on there. Plan. Alright? So, next week, one of these days, I'll make the announcement this week at some point when I know. We'll do a chair yoga class next week. It's gonna be one of the weekdays. I don't know which day yet. So that might be a nice intro. You won't need a yoga mat, and it probably won't be as long as my regular classes. I've only ever taught like 45-minute chair yoga classes before, but we'll see. I'll like scope it out. We'll still do our meditations and all of that. So, you know. Alright, guys. Well, much love from me to you. I'm going to see if it's actually raining, go for a run, pending that answer. Just shower and then get to all that work that I've been procrastinating. Not even procrastinating, I like hanging out with you guys, but the rest of the day when I'm not streaming, procrastinating. So,